was a well, I say we've been saying bookman, but as you look at the name, it turns out it was a lady.
No. I thought you were going to say his name was Bookman.
Ledger Bookman at your service.
Her name was Lamp Deskerson. Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play set in the Eberron Campaign world. I'm Philip.
I'm Eric.
I'm Colin.
I'm disappointed no one made a joke before the bump.
I'm Casey.
Oh, dude,
Another episode, Philip. You gotta wait one more week, I guess.
That was the one. Oh, we were all so quiet and professional during the countdown that I didn't even see. I just fed the energy. Oh,
Everybody even put on the smile when Philip said hello.
It was good.
The hi and man, that was it. That was it. Anyway,
All right. R.A., what happened last time?
Punishment.
Last time we convened after some wrapping up some threads previously. Esri went to his less reputable contact in the pharmaceutical industry, Gerald Goodblade, and we don't use that term. Tried to further his business interests with him. Results TBD. Already had his conversation with our good old friend who was presumed dead, Tommel. Two, again, interesting results, not quite conclusive, about what happened to him or what didn't happen to him. And then we met for thought we were meeting for drinks and dinner at the bar that Pog works at, and it turns out we were expected on a job that we only just found out about, and we have at that point agreed, sort of, to go investigate a series of thefts at this inn.
Yep. So that is where we'll pick up with you all heading upstairs at the Sword and Shield to investigate the rooms. So Carl has told you what rooms have been affected, and Pog has the keys, so you have no problem getting into the room. The Sword and Shield is the Sword and Shield is not a huge place. It probably only has maybe 10 rooms. So it's not, a giant hotel or anything like that, but it is relatively, get the impression, relatively successful in maintaining itself until its recent misfortune. So coming up, Pog opens the door and you step into a pretty plain room. There's a hearth on the outer wall, a single window looking out onto the street, a bed in one corner, and a table, as well as a couple of chairs next to the hearth. Pretty standard setup. It does have a couple of neat luxuries. There is a cleansing stone by over on one side of the room, which is essentially a stone that is enchanted so that on command it will effectively cast Prestidigitation, specifically the effect of Prestidigitation that cleans things.
I gotta get me one of those
Instantly.
Is it?
Magic
Could we
Roomba.
just steal from this?
Not
Could I steal
valuable?
one of those?
It is valuable, yes, but it's also fixed into the wall.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Essentially like a sink. It's like a sink.
Gotcha.
Pog, do you know what was stolen out of this particular room?
No.
Okay.
No.
What Carl had told Pog, because it was a couple episodes back, what Carl had told Pog was just people's bags were getting stolen.
Just
First
their
place-
things.
I would climb through a window.
Yeah.
That's how I would get in and out of a room if I didn't want to be seen.
Ari goes to check out the window.
Okay, Ari, roll me an investigation check.
16.
So you examine the window. You test the lock on it. It does have a lock. You test the lock. There's no signs of damage. The lock functions. And you see absolutely no signs of forced ingress. No evidence that it's been forced open, or even really that it's been opened recently. I mean, Stormreach is a seaside city. The ambient air is not real great smelling. So not a lot of, you're not opening the window to enjoy that nice ocean breeze.
Yeah.
So
Looking at the window though, is there an obvious point of like, is there an easy path up to the window, or does it seem like somebody would have to like scale the side of the building kind of thing?
like most buildings in Stormreach, the Sword and Shield is partly built out of ruins. And so, yeah, you could climb up to the window. Or at least close to the window.
Doesn't look like anybody's opened this window for a while before I did, so I don't know if
I'm sorry.
hey, no,
It's a terrible
Good idea.
and also there's plenty of ways that somebody could just look through a window and end up inside a room so without opening the window, so you might still be right.
Shade is going to look around for any other opportunities that can redeem her suggestion.
All right. Give me a investigation check, Shade.
Okay. 7.
Okay. Remember, you have the option to push, and remember, Pog, that you have inspiration that you can spend on advantage on a roll.
Philip, real quick.
Sure.
Remind me what Carl said. The rooms that have been stolen from, it's never been the same room, right?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
I'm going to go look at another one.
Okay. So you go
Good
across
idea.
the hall and
Come
down a
with you.
couple. Yeah, you
But
go
I'm
down
not
the.
with you. I didn't see anything in this one.
I'll stay here.
All right.
I'll keep looking.
Everybody else goes.
Oh,
A mind
okay.
flayer appears in the room.
You come back. Ari has shark eyes.
I hate Ari now.
So the three of you go down the hall and across it and go into another room. It's arranged basically the same, slightly different arrangement just to accommodate the shape of the building, but it is more or less the same. And you get the same story going and checking the window. It locks, the lock functions, and it again doesn't seem like it's been opened. Interestingly, when you check the window in this room, there is no obvious way that you could get up close to this window.
Hey, Pog, is there like a back entrance? Could anyone actually walk out of the bar without being seen?
I assume there's a service entrance,
Yeah, there's a
like
service
loading
entrance.
in the back.
Mm-hmm.
There's the back door that I take the trash and the barrels out of.
Well, but what about from up here? Is there just the one way down?
Yeah, that's it. Just the stairs.
Is there a window in the hall?
Yeah, there's a window down at the end of the hall.
Just go take a look at that.
Sure. You find more or less the same story now that you know what you're looking for. You get more or less the same impression. It's locked. Its lock functions. Doesn't seem to have been opened. In fact, you have a hard time getting it open from disuse.
I'm going to just investigate this room.
Okay, go ahead and give me an investigation check, Pog.
The one thing that I am oddly positive in. So that's my first digital roll. What's the B?
Yeah.
That's a natural 20.
Okay, I got a natural 20. Oh, okay,
Awesome.
that went well.
That's
So-
popped up on my screen.
I know I got a pop up that
Hey, cool.
So let me use this for a bit of narrative here. Pog, you're hunting. You're trying to find something. This is a lot of your childhood would have gone into this. Give me just like a brief little like flash of memory of Pog learning to do this, learning to cut a trail and find a scent or find a trail back in the Shadow Marshes.
The memory would immediately have been the first time that I was taken out on a hunting expedition, and the older men that weren't out on any kind of mission took me out. It was my first time away from the camp, away from my mother, most importantly, and it was 3 days, but we learned the various introduction to tracking. Never something that I shied away from, getting down and looking in the dirt and smelling my way around. And we returned from that first hunt victorious. And that is a hide that I still have as a blanket today.
Awesome. What kind of creature did the hide come off of?
I don't know, something gross. Something that you probably wouldn't leather usually.
Fascinating. Interesting. Okay.
A fish person.
Just given the area that Pog grew up in, I went to like gibbering mouther or something like an
Some
aberration.
horrible aberration. Yeah.
I don't know what those words are, but when you put them together, it sounds terrible.
It is terrible. Awesome.
Are polywogs actually a D&D creature, or is that a Stranger Things?
Polywogs? I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of D&D creatures. I don't.
Isn't that
Isn't that
Chronicles of
It's
Narnia?
a
right?
tadpole.
It's like a tadpole, right? That's what a polywog is.
Well, it's like a fish.
Oh, you have a bullywog. A bullywog, a frog person.
Bullywog. Ah.
Bullywogs are ridiculous frog people. And are apparently often much more aggressive than you would really think when you say frog people.
They're probably tired of being called frog people. Just really
That's
stand
fair.
up for themselves these days.
So you are. So I mean, everyone else is kind of moving around the room, looking, and you do what you were taught to do. You get down, you get low, and start to sort of move close to the ground.
Down is push-up plank position at the bottom to not disrupt by laying, but to look from all as low as I can get.
So you get low. Do you search from the window to the wall?
Literally till the Geek Pantheon rules.
Yep.
So near the door, you catch a slight sort of scuffing on the floor that you would work out to be a place where people have sort of naturally like dropped their bags quite frequently. You come into the hotel, set your bag down by the door. There's just some scuffing on the wood. On the wall, just above that, there is a very faint ring that sort of glistens wetly And when you look closer, there is a very, very slight oily residue in a ring shape on the wall just next to this spot where you've observed the bags were dropped.
Pog immediately walks back to the room that Ari's in
Okay.
and
What's up,
looks
buddy?
for the exact same thing. It
Oh,
doesn't
you're
say a word.
You're laying on
Like,
the ground.
Hog?
Okay.
on the hunt for a purpose here.
So you know exactly what you're after, probably even picking up a little bit of a smell to it. Quickly quarter the room, and you find in a different spot. This time it's on the floor, but you find the same little stain, oily stain on the floor.
I put my hand next to it, and then I stand straight up and I go to the third room that was robbed.
This one
I'm just-
you find
at this
on
point,
a shared wall with one of the rooms. What was that, Ezri?
Ezri, seeing Paul get very focused, is just sort of quietly just following behind him, just trying to figure out what he's doing.
And just for the sake of clarification, aside from the natural 20, I am positive in investigation, so Pog takes this serious, like, especially once I found the trail. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm helping. And I go to room 3.
And the third room, it's on a shared wall with the first room that you looked in.
Did anybody follow me to room 3? Or is
Ari
everybody-
would have, seeing you acting the way you are. But Ari's not coming in the room. He's just kind of in the hallway looking through the door.
This?
Did
Do you
find
Do you see
something?
this?
Yeah, what's
the
up,
wall?
buddy?
This right here.
Can we see the
mark?
oily ring?
Uh-huh.
This
We put okay.
this
Yeah.
mark. It's in every room. They all
Oh.
have this. And I'm Pog. He reaches out and touches it to like swipe a finger down it, because you said it was kind of oily looking.
Yeah.
Drags a finger down it. What does
A
it
little
feel
bit
like?
of sort of viscous black oily material comes off on your finger.
Any?
It's gross and not old.
Can I make an Arcana check? Is that like something
Sure.
that can be? Okay. 22.
Oh,
Wow, that is a nice roll.
I have a +5 on my Arcana.
Okay.
oh my lord! I hate that look.
Pog's finger starts to disintegrate.
Pog vanishes out of the room.
There is this moment where everyone else give me a perception check.
Oh lord!
If I'm still in the other room, I imagine I don't.
Yeah, if you have not followed the group,
okay,
then
Ezra.
you.
At this point, I think I would, being left alone for so
Hey,
long.
okay.
24.
All right. What did everyone? 24. Okay.
I got a 20.
All right.
Not natural.
Both of you notice that Ari's face pales just a little bit. And Ari, you. So I hesitate to say here because this being a magical world, I don't want to imply that like something's making sounds in your head. You hear in memory
Yeah.
a very familiar sort of mocking laughter. And you recall that there are strange fey creatures called boggles. Boggles are notorious thieves, usually of little things, little sort of discarded things. So it's a little, this is not what you would usually associate with this kind of mischievous creature. But boggles, as one of their properties, one of their the properties that they have, is they secrete a magical oil that allows them to do a lot of different things. But one of those things is to fold space.
Hmm.
Is
Cool.
to reach across distances and usually grab things.
So, let me ask you this: in Ari's knowledge base, are boggles typically just cast a wide net mischievous creatures that like anybody could be targeted by them, or is there a specific is there more method to their, do they go after certain locations or certain people or anything like that?
They tend to be broadly mischievous. They do tend to be malevolent.
Okay.
So they are associated with the Feywild, but it is thought that they are actually created. And with all of your travels, you've probably heard 3 or 4 different stories about boggles, right? They are also thought to be spirits, dead spirits, given form of people who were abandoned and died abandoned, and this is why that is one story as to why they steal discarded things.
Okay.
You said he pales. Is he being physically affected by the oil on his hand?
It's on
No,
my hand.
it's not on his hands. Ari pales,
Pogs.
not Pog.
You and I noticed that Ari paled.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I've heard some stories about things that leave behind this kind of oil doing their thing.
Pog smells the oil.
It's
I
kind
don't
of
want
acrid.
I don't want to have to relay this information multiple times. So let's go meet up with Carl and I'll
And
you
Shade.
know.
Shade.
Oh yeah. Shade.
Wait, just can I take 10 minutes to have a more thorough kind of look at the space?
I mean, sure.
My shift is over. We can do whatever.
Yeah, give me 10 minutes here. Just don't interrupt. And Esri sits down, crosses his legs.
If that's the way Ezra communicates it, Ari's going to go back downstairs. Like fine, I won't interrupt. I'm going to go finish my drink. Whatever.
Sits down, lays his staff in front of him, and his eyes kind of gloss over and then become the bright green. And I'm going to ritually cast Detect Magic. So it lasts for... How long does it last? 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I just want to, once that starts, look at the ring and see if it is it like...
Yeah, it definitely
just a
reads...
residue, or is it...
I mean, it is a physical residue, but it does have a magical aura to it. It does give off a magical aura.
Is it like leftover, or is it like this is something that can be used again?
Is this how they got there or because they got there?
Yeah.
You imagine that someone in possession of enough boggle oil and skilled enough in alchemy could probably make something out of it. But from what Ari said and from what you're seeing, this looks like something that was an effect of what the boggle did in order to get through the walls.
Okay. Just walk through all 3 rooms. Is there anything else magical?
You do notice that on the one wall that was shared, you do notice that on all of the walls that all the places where the rings were on the walls, the opposite side of the wall also has a ring.
So, as in, Well, I guess I don't fully know the layout, but like, so it looks like it went from one side to the other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then in the first room that y'all were in, where Shade initially checked the window, the ring was on the floor, so it's not on the wall to check.
Wog.
Pog.
I'm sorry. Pog.
Yeah.
What's directly underneath here?
A storeroom.
This is where I think it's where we keep the bottles, and the barrels. It's where we store everything in that room.
Can we go in there?
I have the keys.
So yes.
Okay.
Let's take a look there.
Shade, did you stay up while Esri was doing this, or did you go back down with Ari?
No, I stayed up. I would have like stood in the doorway while he.
So,
meditated.
Ari, when you come down, Carl is cleaning the bar and looks up. That didn't take very long.
They're doing some other poking around up there, but I think I have a pretty good beat as to what might be your problem, based on some evidence that was left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And Ari goes and sits at the bar across from him. How familiar are you with boggles?
It's a game, right?
Close. They're fae. Well, they're creatures from the fae, allegedly.
No, I like all stories that begin that way.
Yeah, it's always a good time after that. But they have a reputation for being thieves, but normally they steal trinkets and things that typically don't. They don't steal gold or jewels or anything like that. So,
So
like
I
I
got an
said,
ambitious one.
if that's what they've been stealing, it's. Yeah, I mean, that's the residue that was left behind in the rooms indicates that it's a boggle. That's the source of your problem. I had one other question that I forgot to ask earlier. When these thievings have happened, have there been multiple people staying up in the inn, or has it just been that one person whose stuff got stolen?
No, there have been other guests on those nights.
Okay. And anything, just, I don't know, you thinking about the 3 different guests that were robbed, is there any even slightest connection that the 3 of them might have in common?
He goes over to a book and flips open the ledger. They were pretty unremarkable, you know. I think back, I look at the names, and I have a hard time picturing them. To tell you the truth, it just didn't really leave an impression.
Interesting. All right. Well, I think that's probably all I need. Would you mind? And if not, I know that you're a businessman and secrecy and privacy and all that, but if you could share their names just so I can maybe look into it and see if there's any connective tissue. But if not, I totally get it.
Yeah, a place like mine, confidentiality is an important part of what I do.
Would Ari be aware of anything that Carl does here that would require a level of secrecy and confidentiality?
I mean, he gets protection money from a
Fair
paramilitary organization.
Okay.
They also have a no film clause with the TV show Cheaters, so no camera crews ever come in here.
I mean, it is true that no camera crews ever come in here.
All right, so I have a hard time picturing. Could I make any kind of additional check about just stories of Fae that I don't know, could further elaborate on this kind of thing. Like, I mean, he paid a good amount of money to these three people, and the fact that he can't like recollect them seems odd to both Eric and Ari. So,
it does. Yeah. Yeah. You can make another Arcana check to see what you recall about the Fae.
That is going to be a 15.
Nothing specific jumps to mind. It's, I mean, Fae are very strange creatures, and typically have odd effects on people's minds when they do interact with them. So it doesn't seem it doesn't seem bizarre that a place that's being messed with by a Fae creature might be having a hard time picturing people.
Yeah, I guess, and like, this is Eric, the player, putting pieces together and trying to figure out the level of where my knowledge meets Ari's. Would Ari have heard any stories about a Fae figure known as the Forgotten Prince?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably so. That's one of the more prominent,
Okay.
like, archetypal figures in the Feywild. The Forgotten Prince is, like, blamed when your sock goes missing.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. He's someone who, and there's a whole lengthy story of loss and loneliness attached to him. But
It's very tragic.
in short, for the moment, the Forgotten Prince, yeah, he's typically associated with stealing things that he thinks are unappreciated.
All right. Well, thank you, Carl. I'm gonna go reconvene with my my associates, and
Pog's heading down the stairs
oh well, what timing?
with Ezra behind.
Behold your associates.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see what they found out, and hopefully we can figure this out for you.
All right.
Ezra, you checked all the rooms, right? You went to all three of them while
Yes.
you were up there? Okay. So as you left Pog unattended in the last room that we were in, he walks over to Carl and says, "We found this." And he puts a chunk of the wall that I used my hand axe to cut out the perfect mark and sets it on the bar in front of him.
That's
That's a piece
Now
of
we
my
have to go-
Pog.
Well, we found that, and that's how they stole the things. Now
They
we're
stole
going to
it
the storeroom.
Because
There's-
wait,
there's
wait.
magical goo.
Somebody cut a
Just over-
hole. Somebody cut a
No.
hole in my wall. That's
No.
what
Pog
you're
is
saying. You
gone,
found a place
heading
where someone.
towards the storeroom.
Pog.
remember
Pog,
the
storeroom,
Bollywog
please.
thing that I was talking about.
Wait, aren't those frog people?
The Boggles, the board game.
Pog, this runs out. I need to go now.
I'm already headed towards the storeroom. I have left.
Okay.
Pog is walking to the storeroom.
Okay, Ari's still trying to talk
Sure.
to this man who is clearly confused. This is the residue I was talking about that Boggles leave behind for some.
And
Yeah.
it caused my wall to fall apart. Like it's like an acid. And it
I
ate
think
a
that
hole in
was
the wall.
that was what we call a poggle. Did that? If you get my meaning.
So mad at you. I am so mad at you.
Inspiration, Eric.
This is when
Inspiration.
Colin quits the show. I'm so angry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think he was eager to show you. So, but
All right. Well, I know a guy who can mend things.
well, and I mean, there's still the residue on there. So if you know somebody who might be able to analyze it further, that might be worth it. But whatever.
Sure.
Ari gets up to go follow everyone else.
All right. So, Pog, you are leading people to the storeroom.
I got there literally as fast as I could. I set that down, no nonsense, and headed straight to the storeroom because I have to let him. I take investigation serious.
Esri, no checks are required because Esri has detect magic going still. So you, oh yeah, Carl also saw Esri come down with his eyes glowing bright green. But yeah, you step in, look up,
and
you
just
can
sort of
see-
looking at everything, like looking through everything. Just kind of
Oh,
trying to see the auras.
yeah, you pick up like in a couple places like hand-shaped prints that are picking up or giving off auras, and over on the floor a little ways off there are a couple of footprints.
Noted. All right.
Okay.
We'll come back
And
to
Tog
that.
is
those of you
also
who are-
investigating because
Yeah, when those of you
he's-
who are with him look where look where Esri is pointing, you can see the same basic shape in this little oily residue.
Oh.
Look what I found right here. And here.
Good job, buddy.
And here.
But
Ezra, did you find
that's
anything?
in the inn, right? Not the storeroom.
Yeah, you're in a no. This is in a storeroom. Yeah, you're
that's
you're
in
a
the
storeroom.
storeroom. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Is
I mean,
there
good.
is there a ring shape down here?
Just on the ceiling, which you
Just
take to
on
be
the
the
ceiling.
mirror of the one that was on the floor. Yeah, but the
Pog
footprints
has his
do
hand axe
go
out.
to the service door that Pog mentioned.
Following.
Pog takes out his hand axe.
No, buddy. No. No, we can bring Carl in here
to show
to
Carl.
look.
Oh, because it's downstairs.
The service.
It's not actually Pog being obtuse. Once, not long ago, Carl swore a terrible oath never to go upstairs.
That's why the magic Roombas are up there. He doesn't even know for sure if things got stolen. He didn't go check anything out.
He can't. Like, he's just going to take it.
The oath of first flooredness.
Sorry. Esri, go ahead.
Out the service door.
Mm-hmm.
Following this trail as long as I can.
Yeah. Once you are out into the street, it disappears pretty quickly. You would guess from just rain and things like that has over time that has washed the oil residue away.
Okay. Were they going? I mean, did I see a turn? I mean, this is a minor thing.
You can
turn in a direction.
you can deduce the direction it came down the street from. Yeah.
Okay.
Do the handprints and footprints look like Boggle, or are they like shoes?
Boggle are vaguely, horrifyingly, vaguely
Yeah.
humanoid.
Dude, I looked them up here on
yeah.
D&D Beyond.
Here you go.
They are
Boggle.
gross.
Oh.
Yeah, Boggle are vaguely humanoid. So yeah, I mean, it looks about right.
Okay.
Huh. So, I don't quite get it. We think this was just a boggle?
I mean, without knowing what got stolen, which Carl does not seem eager to part with that knowledge for some reason, then, I mean, we don't know how actually valuable the stuff that was stolen. It could have been just something that somebody was like, it was my grandmother's blanket. It's worth so much to me. When it's just it's a nothing to them, and the Boggle took it for fun.
He doesn't. Wait, I'm sorry. I missed that part. He doesn't know?
No, he won't tell us. He says, you were at the table. I asked, and he said, it's between me and my ledger.
Strictly speaking, you asked him how much he paid people.
Oh, that's fair. Having that realization,
Right.
like, oh wait, I asked the wrong question. Ari turns and goes back out the room. No, not really. I mean, we can try to get that info out of him, but
It would be an interesting scam to bring something in, have it intentionally stolen, and then have it paid for by the inn.
So
Bold
you
strategy.
think that Carl gave a Boggle a room and then they stole it out of the room?
Almost. I don't think anything in particular, but it could be that someone is targeting the inn, trying to hurt Carl, and intentionally having stuff stolen. But it also could just be that there's a boggle coming in the inn.
Yeah. Another Pog. Quick question regarding Carl. How would you rate Carl's memory, generally speaking? Like, how good is he remembering things? Like, are there regulars that he like remembers their names, like orders, stuff like that? How long does it take him to remember somebody?
Well, I would say that Carl remembers everybody. At least people that buy things. If he's gonna remember your drink next time we have dinner.
So if somebody were to rent a room from him, it's likely that at least for a little bit of time, he would remember them.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Another odd piece of the puzzle then. When I asked Carl about the three people and like maybe is there any connection between the three of them or anything like that, he said he has a hard time recalling them and picturing them and what they look like. It struck me as odd.
He may have started forgetting things.
It's true.
What if he doesn't want you to know that he remembers?
That's also true. I didn't get that read from him, but also, as you all know, I am a wonderful judge of character. So,
No, you're not.
Remember the tone that Shade was talking about earlier that people use when they mean the opposite?
I think you were talking about that when I was getting a drink.
Oh, who ordered a drink from you? You should have been hanging out with us, man.
I don't know.
Paul,
anything else?
Can you hunt a
I have to
boggle in the city?
Esri, you've known me for a long time. I can hunt anything. We might not find it, but I can hunt it.
Well, finding is the real point.
Oh,
I think
Why
maybe
don't,
we could.
maybe.
Shade.
I have to give Carl his keys back first. And then
Yeah.
I'll come and see if I can see
Well,
anything.
Just
Shouldn't we ask Carl if like people want to hurt him or he has enemies or
those
can
are
you-
all excellent questions.
Can you send a boggle after somebody? Like, can you hire a boggle or like do they do their own thing?
I see what you're saying. Can we get a boggle?
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Usually they're mischievous spirits that kind of do their own thing, at least from what I've heard. But it's not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, they're
What if we
smart
gave
enough
it
to-
bacon? It might stay with us.
Can I suggest a course of action, or is this the wrong room?
It's the wrong room. You can go
We're in the
outside.
street.
I look
I
around.
would love to hear it.
Is Carl out of earshot?
Yes, Carl's still minding the bar.
Those are good questions, Shade, and they need to be asked.
Thank you.
Do Ari and Pog think they could go ask those questions in a way that would turn Carl's attention away from his ledger for a time?
Yes.
And Shade, how is your reading coming?
I am very good about reading about plants.
Huh.
But you have to know all of the letters to read the plant names.
Right, got it. You can't read the ledger. Could you grab the ledger?
I think I could read. I can.
This is Ari's face, by the way, during this conversation. Just
Pog
We
has
need
not
to know-
connected the dots yet.
We need to know those names.
I mean,
He's not going to tell
You want me to
us.
ask him the names?
Didn't we already ask that
I didn't.
Oh.
I mean, Pog is an employee. I mean,
Do you think, Pog, that you could just go read the ledger? And
Maybe
tell us who
tomorrow.
it was that got things
I'm
stolen?
done with my
No,
work. Do you want me to work again?
go get the apron, buddy.
Pog leaves to go get his apron. Holding the keys out because the first point of order is I'm returning those keys to Carl.
I mean, he's going to notice the ledger's gone pretty quickly, right?
I just want to read it and put it back. I don't want to keep it.
So Pog, you come in.
approaches
and
Carl.
there's Carl. Well,
Carl, I have your keys.
thanks, Pog.
I think we're done.
Find a boggle.
Not yet. We're going to. We're going to. We're hunting it. But I
You know how to
have
get
to
rid of
ask you
one?
something. What?
You know how to get rid of one, or keep it out of my inn.
I think so. And he takes out
So I don't
both
really-
hand axes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want to
But
pull a shift as a night watchman,
Shade and I talked about it, and if we can find it, I think Ari's going to let us keep it. Esri isn't there yet, but I think Ari's going to let us keep it.
why do you want it?
To milk it
Gross.
for its
Why?
goose.
Why? What?
It's
I don't know.
it's magical.
I think-
We can sell that for sure.
Esri is just stuck on you having said that things could be refined off of this, and our resident Walter White is like, I got an option here. Someone's gonna enjoy this. Carl, we can't find any more out though, because we need to know more first. So
Right. But, I mean, here's the thing, Pog. From my perspective, the problem is this thing is coming into my place of business and stealing stuff. So,
my problem too.
right. Yeah.
I
no,
love
know.
it here.
Yeah. And I love having you here. So what I need is for this thing to not come into my inn anymore. I don't really care what happens to it. You want to keep it? You want to kill it? Yeah, that's fine. I just need it to not come in here anymore. So, in terms of the whole, hunt the boggle thing, that's fine if that's what you guys are doing. But I'm not like putting out a bounty exactly. I just want the thing to not steal from my inn anymore.
I want that too.
Great.
I don't want to get fired like the girl earlier. That's why I brought my friends.
Right.
That's why we're here to help.
Yeah,
I like you, Carl. I like it here.
I like you, Pog. You, Pog.
The thing is, we have to know things that you know so that we can know them and know what to do next.
I don't know how to keep a boggle out of an inn.
Oh, no. We're going to do that. We're going to
How?
do that. Well, okay. We have to find it first. Okay?
All right.
So, if I'm going to find it, I have to have my friends with me. I told you they're the ones that think good.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 2 questions.
Right.
And those 2 questions will help us find the boggle. But you have to tell me those 2 questions' answers.
What are those 2 questions?
What did they steal?
I mean, one dude, it was some valuable books. One guy, it was his actual purse. He left his purse up in the room and it was taken. And one guy, he was some kind of spell person. And
Dog is writing all of this down on an order pad.
it was his staff.
Did he fire that staff?
I was hoping you were going
You know, it's quite possible that was one of the powers of the staff. Wizards do some weird things,
I just learned this term sitting at the table. This is a lot for me to process. So, old books, a boy
Money.
purse,
No, like
And-
his purse. He pulls out his purse, his coin purse, like where his money.
and a spell guy's book. And
No,
staff.
his staff, not a book, it's just his staff.
Spell guy staff, old books, and money.
Yeah.
Okay. They had another question.
What are you guys doing? Are you just hanging out
I
back in
didn't
the
think I
storeroom?
would get this far.
I want Ari to be
No one
standing
agreed to
right
steal a ledger
outside
for
the
me,
room,
so-
just wanting Pog to do well, just letting Pog go for it. Like, no, what are we doing? Esri, Shade.
Because we've been talking.
No one agreed
for
to
longer
steal a
than you
ledger
guys
for
were
me,
talking.
so I don't really have.
I would have agreed to steal the ledger.
Okay, well, is there an opportune moment while this conversation is happening?
I mean, they are fixedly conversing with one another.
Shade, you're up.
Is this happening during the
quickly,
question,
go.
the first question, or can I move forward with the conversation?
Probably during the first question.
He said go.
Okay, make a stealth
Go.
check.
Cool.
It
It went really well last time.
Make a good stealth check.
Thanks, no pressure. 18.
That's pretty good.
So, Pog, you see Shade creep behind
why did I have to see shade?
because creep behind Carl, grab the ledger, and creep back. Pog, make a deception check, Pog.
No, don't make him make a decision.
No.
Hey, this 100% tracks. This was not a good idea.
Yeah.
Can I have stealth past Pog?
Oh my God! Check your notifications.
Hey!
Check your notifications.
Hey!
Oh my
Is that a
God!
natural?
That's a nat 20.
'Cause you have
Check
zero.
your notifications. Thank God for the digital dice because I would not have believed that.
Well,
Oh my God!
only because I do roll with natural 20s on skill checks, despite that not being rules of written, will that serve you? Because he rolled a natural 19, and he has a much better insight than you do at deception. So, you managed to keep what passes for a straight face. You are in possession of Carl's ledger.
Okay,
I look at it real quick.
am I continuing to talk? Because
Sure.
Pog is not going to stop. We're talking.
Okay.
Shade, give me the book.
The people,
Okay.
the magic guy, the spell guy,
Yeah.
the staff guy
Yep.
with the room.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was he?
Some wizard out of Onder, I think. But what did he look like? I think he was tall. No. You know, I say Onder, but now maybe his accent was more Karnathi.
Carl,
Yeah.
you know everybody.
Yeah.
Do you just not want to tell me who this was?
No,
It's
I'm
okay
having a hard
if
time.
you don't want to tell me.
Look, I'm a busy man when things drive out. You know, there's only so much stuff can be kept up here, and it's just give me a break, man. I forget things.
It's okay.
Can I read through the book real quick
Sure.
and try to glean the names of the guests?
I'm sorry to
Give
ignore
me an
you.
investigation check because you've got the room numbers, so it's plausible. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
2.
Oh Lord.
Um.
Ezra knocks the book off the counter and ruins everything.
You know what happens You're feeling, you got the book, and then you realize that a little bit of that oil is on your fingers.
Okay.
And it's you sort of pull it back because you're fascinated, because you see that it's kind of corroding the paper real fast, like it's that you've touched. It's sort of spreading gradually across the page that you've touched, until it's kind of, this whole little corner of it is turned black and is starting to go brittle.
Cool.
Yeah.
He'll never know.
I love that that's Ezra's response. Curiouser and curiouser.
I'll rip that page out and give the book back to Shade.
He'll
Was it the
Put it back.
You do realize this is going to fall on Pog, right, Ezri? Like, you do realize that that's the end game here.
Shady, taking a look back.
What
as
about-
soon as he said put it back, I would have.
Make another stealth check.
18. I rolled the exact same thing.
Pog, you see Shade sort of put the book back and get out of the way.
What about the money man? Who was he?
Now that guy was a dwarf or a halfling.
Little money man. Okay. Do you know the little money man's name?
Was he tall? He definitely had a beard, I think.
Who stayed in the room across from the little money man
That night?
that night?
Oh, that was a baker who was just across from Karnath, right out of Korth, and he was here trying to learn some new recipes. He had heard some really great things about some of the peppers that grow out in the jungle, and
Hold on.
he makes
How do you spell peppers?
this really great P-E-P-P-E-R
Shorthand.
He makes this really great bread out of cornmeal with chopped up bits of pepper in the batter.
Make some Texas cornbread.
I think
I'm gonna.
It's real
I
good.
think
Once,
Boggles
And
eat that.
his name was Var, V-A-R-R. Yeah.
You guys can be bored all you want, but this really matters to Pog. So, okay. Bookman.
The first guy that got his stuff stolen. Yeah. He was from Moorgrave University, I think. He was a scholar. Or was he a banker? The books were old, so it was probably... Or maybe he was a bookseller. Maybe he came here and bought the books.
Did we have anybody singing here that night?
Yeah, it was that, it was a Fearlin guy. We don't usually get a lot of them over here. Tarion, DeFearland, because, that's what they all call themselves. Played a...
Obviously.
Right, yeah. Played the harp. Real nice. More melancholy than you usually get in here. But
But his old stuff was better.
it was.
My favorite part about this is how much Colin is forcing Philip to make up on the fly,
Okay.
especially
He knows what he's
names.
doing.
I think I know the problem. You can only remember stupid things. So I'm going to tell my friends about these things that won't help us. But thank you for telling me what got stolen, because now we can know what to look for. So,
All right.
we're going to go back to work. High five, Carl.
As the conversation
Is that a Shadow Marches thing,
Wraps up.
Pog? No one's ever asked me to do that before you came here.
Well, you haven't had a friend like me.
That's
High five
true.
again.
never had a friend, never had a friend.
And I turn back
As
to
the
the group.
conversation wraps up, I'm gonna kind of walk by briskly and said, "Well, come on, trail's getting cold," and walk out the front.
No,
door.
it's not. I know new things. And I
Oh,
thought,
Anyone
no,
figured
come
out how
on
to
then.
keep this thing out of my inn?
working on it, Carl.
I mean, one thought is everybody else, investing in, well, no, that wouldn't work because they can bend space. Never mind. We're on it. I was going to suggest a safe, but I don't think that would work in this particular instance. Like small safes in individual rooms that people could use. Anyway,
I could charge a fee for that.
you could.
That's the first reasonable idea you've had tonight.
I'm full of those. 1 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm out of here.
I'm walking out immediately behind Ezri as he was the first to go to the door. I learned something, Ezri.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of things.
Okay.
Oh, I left my book.
Whenever Ari exits, I'm just gonna pull the paper out and hand it to him. Like, can you? I can't. This is
Put it back in the book?
code. Figure out what their names.
I mean, Ari looks over the front and back. Is this even the right page to find
It's for the
Their
right
names?
dates. Yeah.
the right dates? Okay. So yeah, Ari would take a look and try to figure out who these people are.
It's funny. You look at the dates and you realize you played here that night.
I did.
Which night?
The night of the of the first.
The
Zach.
bookman.
Yeah.
Huh.
Pog comes back out holding his order pad. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Pog, you remember like that night that you were working that I played here, that I performed?
Yeah, you got no tips. Yeah.
Yeah, like usual. Stupid stereotypes. Anyway,
I liked your old stuff better.
the first robbery. The first robbery happened that night that I was performing.
Ari. Are you a boggle?
I didn't know how to tell you this, Pog.
Oh.
But no, I'm not.
Well, that's how you tell me that. You just said no.
So can I, so
Sure. Give me an investigation check. I'm sorry. I forgot what you were trying to do.
you're good.
Should I do the same?
Hey, that's a natural 16. So that's
What
gonna
are
be
you?
I was working that night, if according to
19.
the way this is playing out.
That's true. 19. Yeah, you can probably from. I mean, you have the room numbers and you have the night, so it's not. Yeah, obviously. You can work.
Obviously, that's easy to figure out.
I mean, of course,
Obviously.
it's so.
You couldn't figure this out, Ezri?
Listen,
We got dates and numbers.
What are you bringing to this, Ezri?
He's got the green eyes.
I feel like I'm doing all the work.
Anyway,
Yes, the book guy, the guy who lost his books. Sorry. Was a well, I say we've been saying bookman, but as you look at the name, it turns out it was a lady.
no.
Oh.
I thought you were gonna say his name was Bookman.
Ledger Bookman at your service.
Her name was Lamp Deskerson. No,
You're probably going to get in less potential trouble for that than the
Lady
original
reads
name
well.
I had, so you're good. Composure.
Her name was Shireen.
Spell that.
Shireen. Shireen.
That's
Okay.
the face of lore being made on the spot. Canon created.
You want me to read that spelling back to you, Philip?
I think our note taker just got decided.
If it pleases the GM to remember that RA did not force you to make up any of this information tonight.
Uh-huh.
Um,
The GM
so
will remember this.
It is inconsequential.
is there any other line items on Shireen's ledger line, I guess, other than like obviously room rented?
Oh yeah, the total. Can you see the money paid back?
No, the money paid back is not listed on the ledger.
Okay. He was lying. Can I
We've been calling it ledger. I assumed it was a guest book, like a.
It is.
guest log.
It is a record of his guests. Yes.
as just a means of expediting, as Pog is sharing the information about the person and the staff fire, can I find those names as well, or
First
are they
off,
not?
as Pog remembers these things, or recounts these things, you have a very different memory of that Fearlin bard who played right before you.
Okay.
And the quality of his work.
Yeah. I would.
And you are probably mildly offended that when Pog asked who played here that night,
That was who was remembered.
that's who showed up. Yeah.
Whatever.
Should have played and stuff.
I was better than him, right, Pog? I was better that night, right? Oh well, never mind.
Yes. Shade, I lied to Ari.
I have a +6 performance. I'm good at performing. The worst I could do is slightly below average. Like, I can't be bad at this.
The guy that lost money is on the backside, but you don't have the guy that lost the wizard, the guy who lost his staff. The guy who lost money is Gorm, Gorm, Gorm Bluetooth Dikandaric.
Oh, good.
I was
this
waiting
guy
for
came
like
up with a really
Bluetooth
efficient.
headset.
This guy came up with a really cool version of a sending stone that could fit in your ear.
That guy, he just connects with everybody he meets. It's really cool.
You know what? That company is named after, and their logo is the name Rune 4, the semi-legendary first king of Norway, Harold Bluetooth.
I knew about the symbol. I knew about the B being the.
I knew about the rune. I didn't know that it was from an actual king.
Well, okay, so we got two out of 3, which, according to Carl, is better than my average. So, because of the 1 out of 3 good ideas that, anyway.
No, we got it.
So,
Thanks
a
for
joke.
explaining the joke.
It was a joke. That makes it funnier, right?
yep, always. Presumably, these people aren't still in town, though, considering they were staying at an inn. Unless they were hanging out before an expedition and maybe they went out into the jungle.
Possible.
It's a possibility. So we could
You know
Shade,
who
do
would
you
probably have? You know who would probably have a record of good old Gorm coming into town?
yeah. Oh,
Do I recognize any of these names?
Oh, no, you do not. I was pointing
I'm
out
sorry.
that you could just go knock on the door of the House Kandaric Enclave and ask them about Gorm.
we could certainly
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. That is a
was
thing.
just
Well,
hoping
I don't
would
know.
have
I do have
information that was
disguise
helpful.
self.
Okay,
And I
so
blend in anywhere.
let's talk this out a bit. magic staff old books sound like horribly targeted thefts.
And money.
Well, I mean, money, everyone's got some, especially if you're staying at an inn. So what's the missing thread there?
None of these things land in typical Boggle territory. Typically, Boggles steal useless trinkets. And, I mean, while some people might consider old books useless trinkets, I imagine somebody that, when packing their bag to go on a trip, packs a set of old books, probably doesn't consider them useless trinkets.
Nerd.
No,
So, we could go to the harbor and see when these names arrived and if they've left. We could probably bribe somebody down there to get that kind of information potentially. So that's a possibility, because if we know they're still in town, we might be able to track them down. Because I think that I don't think the key lies with Carl. I don't think Carl's being targeted. I think these people were targeted. Because that's just my hunch.
Okay, so there's a couple. Should we see if other inns have seen similar robberies? Because if not, then that's an awful lot of coincidence. And if our ultimate goal is to stop the... I'm sorry?
No,
go ahead.
If our ultimate goal is to stop the Boggle, but the Boggle is only stealing when there are guests, we can't exactly just wait for it to show up.
I mean, we could book rooms for the night and stay and see if something happens.
Yeah. Well, my only thought is if we could catch it in progress, then we could follow it, maybe.
I mean, we could go back to the treehouse, pack bags with a spectrum ranging from things that we really like and care about and are somewhat valuable down to things that we don't really give a crap about, and put them in there and leave. Come back and see if anything's gone missing. Stake out by the back door.
Do I need to go back to the treehouse? Because I live here now.
Buddy,
You guys could stay in Pog's room.
sleepover. Tommel didn't come, so I have great news for you. You're not moving here.
Oh.
I mean, the night's not over.
Fair enough. Subject
Did
to
you set a
have
time? Tommel doesn't keep bankers'
a way
hours.
to set a trap on stuff?
I mean, Shade's the survivalist. I mean,
I could probably make a snare.
I meant something more magical.
I don't have magic that's a trap. I do have a cool trick that vines will pop out and grab someone, but I have to be there to do that. It doesn't just happen to the
Just to clarify one point, and maybe I didn't clearly communicate this when we were describing the thefts. Two of the thefts took place in the middle of the night while the people were sleeping in their room.
gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we could be in the rooms then. Okay, so yeah, let's.
Honeypot.
What did you call me?
Nothing,
let's
sweetie
each-
pie.
Let's each
So
stay in a
much better
room.
than ugly.
Let's go back to the house, pack bags. Carl's not going to sell those rooms because he's got a reputation, so he shouldn't charge us to further our investigation. And we hole up for the night and try to stay awake.
Can I say one thing before we go?
You can say many things.
Yeah.
You guys remember that we were going to get dinner here and we haven't eaten yet, and I worked all day.
I do remember.
Yeah.
I'm super
We'll just
hungry.
stop at we'll stop at a booth on the way home.
We can get dinner when we get back, buddy. It shouldn't take very long to pack up a bag for an overnight.
Okay.
I will say though that, well, yeah, let's just go pack bags. I think that's the next best step.
All right.
You leave some shirts at home. Just in case we can't get them back.
Well, as you all go back and prepare to set your trap, see if you can't catch a boggle, we'll wrap up there for this episode. And we'll pick up with the stakeout next time.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Bum, ba, bum,
Cool.
bum. We hope you've enjoyed this. If you have and you'd like to let us know, you can leave a comment down below. You can also get in touch with us at all of our various social media, the links to which are below, including our Discord, where you can meet up with a lot of other people who watch Geek Pantheon stuff or listen to Geek Pantheon stuff and have opinions about it. And you can come and have opinions about it on our Discord with other people who will enjoy your opinions about it. You can also have opinions in the comments down below or on, any social media, or just, in your head, wherever you want, really. That's kind of how it works.
Philip allows you to have opinions.
I mean, not really. That's the great thing about it is I don't have to.
But if you don't let the internet know those opinions, they don't really exist.
This is true.
That's a fair point. Anyway, sorry. We hope you've really enjoyed this. We've really enjoyed making it, and hope you are enjoying this continuing madcap adventure. And anyway, you can also find in a link down below a link to Colin's Twitch and socials, where he is SorryBTR with 0 for the O. Tell us when people can see you Twitch.
I am currently
the verb?
consistently. Yeah, I think so. To Twitch is an action. So you can consistently find me on Mondays streaming my story games, and then sporadically throughout the week. And after you follow the channel, you'll have no problem getting those notifications.
And I failed to mention it, but our own dear Eric also streams on the Geek Pantheon on Tuesdays and Sundays. Is the correct
Sundays and
schedule?
Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central and Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.
That's gross. I don't know why you do that. But if you're up early on Saturday, Eric will be streaming. So
Who needs
fun.
cartoons? You got this fool.
That's fair.
We're also on the path to 2,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I forgot about
Yes. And when we hit that point, we will do a giveaway where we give away a D&D book. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Most of you are not subscribed, not to call you out or anything, but yeah, just hit that red button down there. And if you're feeling really saucy, hit the bell next to it.
Ooh. Ooh, notifications turned on.
that. Oh my gosh.
Get us out of this episode, Philip.
Okay.
Steer this ship home.
That's it. We're done. I'm Philip.
I'm Eric.
I'm Colin.
I'm RA.
I'm Casey.
And we'll see you. Please come back.
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
I promise we can do better.
But we won't.